Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery in our shooting center today, which means it is target bow video time. And what I'm holding here is brand new from Bowtech for 2023. This is the Bowtech Reckoning Gen2 39. Great new target bow from the folks at Bowtech. They did a lot of work with Tim Gillingham and Paige Pierce to get a lot of features built into this bow. Great shooting target bow. Lots of innovative features that we haven't seen before. I'm going to tell you all about those, but first let's get the specs for the Bowtech Reckoning Gen2 39. The Bowtech Reckoning Gen2 39 with the medium cam measures 39 inches axle to axle. It's got an IBO speed rating of 326 feet per second, brace height of 6 3/4 inches. The draw length is going to be adjustable on a rotating mod from 26.5 to 30.5 inches. The let off is going to be adjustable from 65 to 85%. The bow weighs 4.9 pounds. And it's going to be available in peak draw weights of 50, 60, 70 pounds. All right, Bowtech Reckoning Gen2 39. Before we get into different features, I'll tell you right up front, this is what Bowtech considers the medium bow. This is a medium cam. The draw length range is 26.5 to 30.5. There is a long draw cam that's gonna be adjustable from 29.5 all the way up to 33.5. So long draw archers, Tim Gillingham, there is gonna be a bow out there for you folks. Again, this is the medium cam that maxes out at 30.5 inches. I have it set at 30 inches. And as you also heard, there is a 36-inch axle to axle version. And that bow, we have the medium cam, that's what you're gonna see in the video. There is a short draw option as well as a long draw option. So for the 36, with those 3 different cam options, you're gonna have an available draw length range. That bow is gonna cover people from 23 inches up to 32.5 inches. So that bow is just gonna cover a huge spectrum of archers out there. But I have the Gen2 39 medium here, 39 inches axle to axle. That's the sweet spot for me for target bows. I like 38, 39, 40 inch bows. So this thing shoots awesome. Now, as we mentioned, lots of cool new features on this bow. And most of them are centered right here at this cam. So let's check this out. So you do have your rotating mod for adjusting the draw length. And as Bowtech has been known for, it is two-sided, this module. You can see right now I have it on the comfort setting. So this is going to give you the smoothest draw cycle, and it's going to give you the greatest let off. So you heard that this is adjustable from 65 to 85%. You're going to get 85% on that comfort setting. If I flip it over, that's going to be the performance setting. Then the draw cycle is going to be a little bit more aggressive. This is still a target bow, so it's not crazy aggressive like a hunting bow. And your let off is going to be a little bit lower because your speeds, your arrow speeds are going to get higher. So just great to have 2 options there. You know, let's say I'm using this bow for indoor, probably going to want to have this on the comfort setting. Then I want to switch to 3D, probably flip it over to that performance setting to get those higher arrow speeds. So that's a great feature right there. Now, we do have Bowtech's DeadLock Cam System in here. And what that is, that's Bowtech's ingenious way of dealing with paper tuning and moving that cam. So I'm shooting through paper. I notice a left-right tear that I can't fix through arrow rest adjustments. Now I've got to come to the cam. So what you're gonna see is there's gonna be a little screw right here. That's a lock. I'm gonna loosen that and come down to the screw underneath, and I'm gonna turn that one way, you know, clockwise or counterclockwise. And what that's gonna do is the axle that this cam sits on, if you think of it kind of like a gear system, as you turn the Allen key here in this screw, it's, you know, you're turning it, the cam is gonna move to the left or it's gonna move to the right. It's gonna move back and forth. And so you don't need a bow press. You're standing right there on the line, paper tuning. You take a shot, adjust your cam, take another shot, check it, see if everything works out. If you don't need to make any more adjustments, lock it down, and now that cam's not gonna move. But that unique drive system where you just turn an Allen key and the cam moves left or right, that's a great system from Bowtech. And they've had that one for a while, but something new that we're seeing here is right here. This red feature right here, this is what Bowtech calls the time lock. So, one of the first things you do when you're tuning a bow, and I ran into this when I was setting this up, you set your rest, get your elevation, get your knock height, everything set. Gonna put this on a draw board and you're gonna check the timing. If the timing is off, whichever cam hits first, you gotta put it in a bow press, twist the cable on that cam until you get your cams in sync. Don't have to do that anymore. Don't need a bow press. So with the time lock, there's gonna be a screw right in the end here. So before you get to that, on this side, you have your locking screw. Bowtech, anything that you can move on these cams or pockets is always gonna be a locking screw. So right here on this side, you have a locking screw. I'm gonna loosen that. Now I come over to the end here with an Allen key, and just very similar to the DeadLock Cam System, I'm gonna turn my Allen key one way or the other, and that's gonna drive this cable end, right? The post where the cable connects to the cam. Let's say this cam hits first when I'm checking the timing. So I'm going to loosen the screw on this side, the locking screw. I'm gonna come around to this end piece here. And now what I'm gonna do is, as I turn the Allen key one way or the other, I move the post here that the cable connects to on the cam. I'm gonna drive it in or I'm gonna drive it out. You can drive it either way. So if this cam is hitting first, I'm gonna turn it so that I pull it out. That has the same effect as twisting the cable. So just super simple. I had to do that with this bow. It was coincidentally this cam that was hitting first. Just turned that Allen key, brought that post out, brought it right into time. It was super simple. It was great not having to put it into a bow press and take the cable and twist it up. So time lock, that is a new feature from Bowtech. Now, coming around here, you're gonna see this triangle shaped draw stop. As I'm sure you can imagine, what that means is I have some different options for how this bow feels at full draw. This is gonna come around and contact the cable. So it is a cable stop system. And on different positions, right now I have it so that this big flat paddle hits that cable. That is the most solid position. That feels a lot like it's a limb stop. But I can turn it around to any of these other positions just to change that feel if I want a little more give. The most give is gonna be if I turn the pointed end of the triangle. If I flip that around this way and that's what hits, that's gonna give you the most cushion in that back wall. But just, a way for you to customize how that feels in the back wall, however you activate your shot. So that's a cool feature right there. And now, something I know Tim and Paige asked for. So in this rotating module, in the past, the way Bowtech came to the draw length setting, you wanted to go from 29.5 to 30. You'd loosen the screws on the mod, spin the mod, and then there was a post that sat in a hole for, if I wanted to go from 29.5 to 30 inches, I would put that post in the 30-inch marked hole, and then I know my draw length is there. So I know something Paige and Tim asked for was Bowtech took that pin out. So now what you line up is a hole. Instead of you put the post in the hole, you just line up 2 holes and that gets your draw length. But what that then allows you to do is you can slide the module one way or the other. You know, so that you can affect the let off. You can have more let off or you can have less let off by rotating that module. Bowtech gives you an indicator right here. It's upside down, but you can see it says let off and it's got a plus or a minus. So it shows you which way to turn the module a little bit. You know, you're not gonna take it a full ½ inch, but just rotating it a little bit allows you to affect that let off. You know, if you don't want 85% let off in the comfort setting, you wanna drop it down, you like a little more holding weight, you can slide that module and affect that let off. And as the specs suggested, you can go all the way from 65% up to 85%. So that is a unique feature for affecting let off, fine tuning it, getting it dialed in to the setting that you like. Now, coming down the bow, first off, you are gonna see that largely vertical position of those limbs. So at the shot, you know, everything's gonna go forward towards the target. It's not sort of like parallel where the limbs flex up. It's gonna go towards the target. So it just feels good in your hand. The bow wants to move forward. And when you're at full draw, you know, you're pulling back against these limbs. Just helps with the stability, that limb position. But what we have here is Bowtech's DeadLock pocket system. So it starts right here with this screw and this screw on both sides of the limbs. When I tighten those down against the limbs, I am locking the limbs to the pocket. Right here, I have a screw. If I wanted to change the draw weight on this, I would loosen that screw, come around to the limb bolt. Right now it's maxed out at 60 pounds, so I would take turns out of it. Once I get it set where I want, I lock that down. Then what I'm doing is I'm locking the pocket to the riser. So once you get everything locked, nothing is gonna move. Great security system. Now, while we're up here, might as well talk about, you are gonna get 2 of what Bowtech calls their orbit dampeners. So these are great vibration dampeners that they have that you can attach in different locations on the bow. I've got one right here. I can put one on the back here. I can put one on the other side as well. There's just different holes mounted all over the riser that have different places where you can put those orbit dampeners just to help kill some of that vibration. All right, coming down to the arrow shelf, you're gonna notice 2 holes here in the shelf. That's gonna allow you to put 2 bolts into your rest. You know, if you've got room here to get 2 bolts in there, you can put them in. Of course, that's just gonna give you the confidence that your rest is not gonna move. And then we come to the grip. This is a new grip that Bowtech came up with, and they call this grip lock. So you're gonna see this channel here, as you can imagine. I can loosen this screw and then I can back this grip out. Now, Bowtech wanted to make sure that, there's 1 screw on each side. So they've got 2 screws there. That allows you to get that grip angle set the way you want. And for added security, Bowtech didn't want those screws to be the only things holding that grip in place around front here. You're gonna notice this hole right here. There's actually a post in there. So if I were to back this grip out, I wanted to make the angle a little steeper. I would do that with these screws here. Then there's a set screw in there. I'll just take an Allen key and I'm driving a post in that's gonna sit against wherever you end up setting up this grip. So if I back it out, I drive that post in, and then that is what supports the bulk of the weight of you pushing forward on that grip. It's not all on these screws compressing in. So that's just a great design as well by Bowtech to make sure stability. We don't want things moving. You don't want that grip to slide in a little bit and you don't notice it. Options. Bowtech is big on options. They want you to be able to take this bow and set it up the way you want it. So, stabilizer bushings. You got a standard one right here under the grip. You got another one down low out front. If you want to get that the weight of your stabilizers lower, you can. Off the back, you can see I've got my side rod mount here. Of course, you can mount a side rod up front as well, you know, run your side rod connector from the front of the bow, or if you want it off the back, got a great lower mount here that you can connect to your side rod. Again, as part of Bowtech's lock system that they build in, they do have their cable lock here. So the cables go through this roller right here. That makes for a nice smooth draw when you come back. The cables move up and down and they're rolling through these rollers here. That's nice and smooth. Just to prevent the possibility of these cables popping out of there, Bowtech puts this little arm that just covers the back sides of the cables so that they cannot pop out. Can't come out of those rollers. If you hit something, that cable lock just keeps them in there, keeps them secure. All right, so shooting the Bowtech Reckoning Gen2 39. I had to go back because I wasn't sure, but I have never actually shot a review video of Bowtech target bows. I've done their hunting bows for years, but the last Bowtech target bow that I did a video on, I did with Todd Snyder of Bowtech at the ATA show. So I didn't actually shoot it. Todd talked about it and he gave us all the specs and information. So I've shot Bowtech target bows, but this is the first one where I really put it through the paces, you know, shot a 300 round with it, set it up, tuned it, did all that. And this is a nice shooting bow. Not that I'm surprised by that, I just have never shot one for a review video. You know, it's got that real vertical riser. There's no radical reflex or deflex to it. And I found that makes it nice and stable at full draw. I'm able to hold it pretty stable. Comfortable draw cycle with the cable stops set in that big flat position. Man, it really felt like a limb stop on there. So it was a super solid back wall. And the tuning, I mean, everything on here from the time lock to the DeadLock Cam System, I had to use all those features. Just very user-friendly, easy to use, friendly to use, didn't need bow press. You know, I could just do everything standing there at the line. That was great to be able to have those features in there just for ease. You know, again, user-friendly, making things easy for folks who own these bows and are going to be shooting these bows, that they can do things themselves to make adjustments. I tend to prefer 38, 39, 40-inch target bows, so I chose to shoot the Gen2 39. That's kind of my wheelhouse. And I shot a bunch of indoor arrows with it. And just everything about the shooting process was incredible. And so it was great to have that experience, to see what these target archers, you know, I hear Tim Gillingham talking about his Bowtech bows all the time, hear Paige Pierce talking about them. Reckoning Gen2s have so much in them that adjustability that's user-friendly. It's pretty intuitive, easy to understand, comprehend, easy to learn, pretty much all the tuning. You don't need a bow press, which these new Bowtechs, the new ones, we are now allowed to sell these online. You know, we love pro shops, love to have that expertise out there, but the simple fact is there's lots of folks who don't have a pro shop near them. Now, with us selling them online, folks can get them in those places. They don't have to go to a pro shop, but they'll still be able to do all this tuning on their own.
Well, typically a guy buying a target bow is a little bit more well-versed than your average bow hunter.
Sure.
The need for a pro, and some of the pro shops, it just all depends which pro shop it is. Some pro shops are highly educated, some of them are not. So the idea, and I kind of push this on them a lot, is that we need to make the system where it's easy for us to teach it. Okay.
Right.
So you got to make it to where, you know, it's not like super complicated for somebody to understand. And yeah. I think the whole bow is an absolute home run. And the scary thing is, how do you improve from here? You know, what do you go in 3 years when they have time for a new one? What do you do? You know, it's like
this locking system that Bowtech has is the DeadLock Cams, which is the Bowtech system for moving that cam position, which is ingenious. You guys are the only ones doing that.
Oh, it's amazing that nobody had come up with it sooner, really, honestly. I was actually quite irritated when I found out they're getting rid of binary overdrive. And they're like, no, you'll like it. And I'm like, whatever. Like, here we go. Binary cams with no yokes anymore. Pain in the butt. But it's just, you can't believe how good it is. I mean, you literally can tune the carbon off the side of a paper tune hole. That's how fine it is. I mean, you literally can.
All right, so that is the Bowtech Reckoning Gen2 39. Great new target bow from the folks at Bowtech. I am fully expecting to see lots of podium finishes this year from Tim Gillingham and Paige Pierce. Tim's probably going to be shooting this one. I would imagine Paige would shoot the 36. They're going to crush it. I have no doubts about that. With all the ways they can customize this bow, they're going to be able to do a lot with this bow. Any of you at home, you'll be able to get these bows to fit you the way you want. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. And as always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at LancasterArchery.com.